The e-tron GT and the Taycan are both cars from the Volkswagen Group and as a result share drivetrains and a number of components. Yet, the Porsche and Audi brands have their own distinct DNA with styling, interior design and drive dynamics. In this video, I'll perform an in-depth comparison of these electric cars and we'll find out if they stay true to their brands. Typically in the Volkswagen Group, Volkswagen produces the affordable cars, Audi the family-oriented luxury cars, and Porsche the top-of-the-line performance and luxury cars. One of the consistent differences between the Audi and Porsche brands has been that the Audi has offered cars at a lower price point. You can see this in a comparison of, say, the Audi Q5 and the Porsche Macan. So, does this hold true with the e-tron GT and the Taycan? In order to answer this question, I'm going to look at the pricing in the UK, since the US configurator and pricing details for the e-tron GT aren't out yet. Given initial pricing I'm seeing, I suspect the results will hold true for the US market also. At first glance, it looks like the pricing between the Quattro and the comparable 4S is very close. But actually, that pricing for the 4S is for the smaller battery. The equivalent Performance Battery Plus adds a few £1,000s. Adding other features to the Taycan to get a closer apples-to-apples comparison brings up the price even further. The net result is that the equivalent 4S costs about 13% more than the base Quattro. A similar analysis comparing the base RS with an equivalent turbo shows the Taycan costs about 11% more. So yes, the Porsche is more expensive than the Audi, but with less of a difference. Typically, the difference is in the 15 to 20% range. And in a reversal of brand roles, with the introduction of the rear-wheel drive Taycan, you can now get a Porsche that's cheaper than the Audi. It's unclear if Audi will introduce a rear-wheel drive to match, given how integral Quattro technology is to Audi's brand. But perhaps that narrow price difference is justified because the two cars share so many components and their performance metrics are so close. To start with, both share the same J1 platform. The battery size is the same and is built with the same 800-volt architecture. Both have two motors, one at each axle for all-wheel drive, and have a 2-speed transmission. The performance metrics are very close, with Porsche having the edge given that it is the high-performance brand. With the same cooling systems, both can do repeated performance runs without degradation. As a result of sharing so many similar parts, the e-tron GT's range is expected to be close to the Taycan's. But performance is not just all about numbers. Performance dynamics make a difference too. The Taycan drives like a Porsche, but since Audi hasn't provided the e-tron for test drives, it's hard to know if it drives like an Audi, but I would expect that it will. But taking so many components from Porsche brings into question Audi's brand slogan, advancement through technology. Where's the advancement if Audi is using technology that's already been used in Porsche cars? Similarly, if you look at other cutting-edge technologies that Audi uses, like the Matrix LED headlights, night vision, and safety technologies, they've already been in use with the Taycan too. Perhaps, in keeping with its slogan, Audi should get advanced technology that is unique to Audi. Now, what is definitely unique to each car is the interior design. With the first impression, you can clearly recognize each interior as a Porsche and as an Audi. I like that with the Taycan, Porsche has taken the design a step further with developing a futuristic version of its typical interiors. The steering wheel is the same, but the curved floating instrument cluster is a nice development. It's also nice to see that the typical console layout with dozens of buttons has been replaced with a clean tablet touchscreen. In the Audi, I really like the monoposter design that is oriented around the driver. It has familiar features like the touchscreen with Audi's MMI and a digital instrument cluster. Now, one of the customer expectations when purchasing high-end cars is the ability to customize and personalize the vehicle. And in keeping with that expectation, the Taycan offers a dizzying array of customizable options for the interior, including multiple seat upholstery choices, seat functions, decorative stitching, and trim options. Those extensive choices aren't just limited to the interior, but also extend to the exterior. In the Audi, you see a more limited set of options as you'd expect, but one exception, which puts it in the realm of a Porsche-type customization, is the selection of 50 exterior colors in the Audi exclusive collection. So that brings us to a comparison of the exterior design of these two cars. The Taycan is easily identifiable as a Porsche, with the most distinctive feature being the fastback line that recalls the 911. The rear with the single narrow LED light is in keeping with the design of other Porsches. In the front, the slope of the low hood again beautifully recalls the 911. The lights and the air curtain, however, aren't a particularly attractive solution with the way they're designed. But overall, the look is very much in keeping with the Porsche brand. The E-tron GT, on the other hand, seems to be going through a bit of an identity crisis. In the front, the most recognizable feature of Audi's is the strongly expressed, large single-frame grille. But in the e-tron GT, the grille has been muted and an insert has been added. The lights with the LED signature do say Audi, but with the weakened grille expression, the connection to the Audi brand is eroded. The side and rear profiles are dominated by the fastback line. But that fastback line, just like in the Taycan, is strongly evocative of the Porsche 911. When you look at the three-quarter profile, that fastback line with the curve of the rear window and the spoiler all just scream 911. In fact, with the proportion of the wide haunches, I think the e-tron GT is a better looking Porsche than is the Taycan. The Audi designers set out to design a beautiful car, which they did, but in my opinion, they just ended up designing a beautiful Porsche. What emerges from this analysis is that with the e-tron GT, Audi firmly pushes its way into Porsche territory, not only with cost and performance, but also with styling. I get that in order to maximize the return on the development cost of an electric platform, the Volkswagen Group would want to introduce an Audi for loyal Audi customers. But in this case, with such similar products, it blurs the lines between the Audi and Porsche brands. So, which one would you buy? The new Audi e-tron GT or the slightly more expensive Porsche Taycan? Let me know in the comments below. Please give the video a like, share your comments below, and subscribe to the Driver Download.